I speak for everybody when I say that League of Legends is dead, Hearthstone is dead, Overwatch is dead, because there's only one game that matters now, and it's the one we're covering tonight, and that is Pokemon Go.
That's right. Wait, let's actually enter this for Lancifer, so we're going to go with silence. As I've shown Skype 15 times, I probably won't post this video live. So
Team Instinct. Let's go.
Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Hey guys, welcome to Trinity Force Podcast. My name's Adam Ponophobia Cogswell. I'm your host for this evening. Listen to episode number 374, joined by Talanasty.
Hey, what's going on, T?
Hey, Cereal Box is here.
In heart, but not really in spirit. My spirit's out wanting to wander around and catch some Pokemon.
And
That's
Punch
not
is
getting
here.
drunk.
Yeah.
Hey everybody, my spirit's all for getting drunk.
My spirit's always for getting drunk and for figuring out what all those words mean on the screen. You know what? Really, our podcast should just be us streaming that. We really should just turn ourselves over to like dumbasses streaming the entire time and say, fuck the podcast.
You mean like what Twitch recognizes us as is the game, not League of Legends, but idiots like typing and guessing words?
Yeah.
I'm sure that's one of the options, and we would be probably one of two, because I bet there's another one.
Sure.
Well, guys, if you want to be an idiot typing words, don't type GG First Blood as you play in the T-Force July tournament this weekend. It is on the 16th on Saturday. You can play in a 5v5 tournament. Everybody is welcome to join in. Go to our subreddit, our T-Force Network. Find the link at the top of the page. Click on it. Join in. Sign up. You'll win RP for playing. I think there's only like 5 teams total signed up right now, so you totally have a chance to get in there and play. It'll start this Saturday. That's Saturday evening at 3:45 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. So if you're Pacific Time, that is noon. Well, it's more like 12:45 p.m., but still. You can join in. You can play. It'll last for probably about 4 hours total, so you'll still have time to go out that evening. You'll have just spend your afternoon playing with us. Win some RP. It'll be really awesome. And to help us take care of these tournaments, you can go sign up for our Loot Crate, which you can go. It's www.trylootcrate.com/TFN. That's right? I'll figure it out for sure. Yeah, it is. Trylootcrate.com/TFN. Use code BRIDGE, BRIDGE, 10, the number 10, for 10% off your order. For $20 a month, you get your Loot Crate straight to your door, full of awesome, nerdy, geek, and awesome, just sweet culture items. You can get Pokemon stuff. I'm sure Pokemon Go will 100% be in next month's Loot Crate. In the beginning of August, you'll get a Loot Crate. If it's not, it'll be September.
I hope it's just like squishy Pokeballs that you can go around just throwing at people. Like the people that are clearly playing Pokemon Go, you can just try to catch the get in front of them and throw it in front of their screen so they actually see a Pokeball go on their computer.
Or try to knock the phone out of their hand so you can steal their Pokemon. There you go.
I think that's gonna get you in trouble.
No,
but
I probably look
if
like
you want to be
an
the
idiot.
best, that's what you got to do.
You fuck shit up.
To be the very best, the best there ever was.
Yes.
I think I looked like an idiot earlier because there is a Pokestop at a auto mall right next to my work, and this auto mall has bears and animals animal statues all over the entire auto mall. Right?
Taxidermy?
No, it's not. It's statues. And there's one right outside the entrance to the auto mall. And I rolled up there and I pulled up right next to it with my car. I'm like, hey, Flick, thanks for the Pokeballs. Peace, bitch. And drove out of there. I'm sure people were like, what the fuck? Because it's just where it was at. I had to pull in and then back all the way out and out because there was no way to go around it.
I'm sure we could all exchange stories. I know I went to a local lake to walk my dog, and we saw quickly quite a few people with their phones out, like walking around looking at it. I'm like, oh shit, people are all here for Pokemon. And sure enough, there's like a lot of memorials, and like this park's dedicated to this bench, and there's a gazebo too. Every one of those was a Pokestop, and there was like 6 or 7 lures put out. There was like 40 nerds sitting under this gazebo in the middle of a lake area, just sitting there. And someone put out a lure, but everyone benefits from it. So I don't know. It's pretty interesting seeing people socialize and just kind of like hang out outside their house instead of just sit at home.
I thought you were going to say that it was really interesting seeing people sit around in a circle on their phones and not talk to each other, but catch Pokemon.
No, but like I brought my dog and I joined in and just started talking to people about like what they caught and just what people did and stuff. I mean, it's just saying.
Well, everyone knows you're not being shy about it. Everyone knows what everyone's doing there.
Yeah, yeah.
You might as well share that.
The one homeless guy
was
a little interested in what the hell we were all doing, but
so you bought him a
It is what it is.
smartphone and got him into it.
I don't know. He had the beer, man, so he came from more prepared than me.
Yeah.
All right, well, I guess let's talk about League of Legends, guys. Go try Loot Crate for us, please.
Damn it.
Loot Crate's awesome.
Tonight's episode is going to be an interesting one for you guys out there because I'm going to call this the Tilt Cast. I think I've had an episode like this previously, but there's been a lot of little things. Like, I've been really, really, really playing League of Legends this season. Probably the most I've ever played in ranked. And I've been sharing my ups and downs with the group as I play through it, and then we joined the Vantage League. And part of that Vantage League is there's an Ask the Coaches section. And from what I can tell, besides maybe the coaches, we're probably the highest ranked players in there. So there's a lot of players in there asking they're good questions. There's not a bad question ever, but asking a lot of questions. And a lot of times I'm like, why are you asking this question when the answer seems pretty obvious? And so I think we're going to be here tonight to talk about some of those questions we've seen and some other little pieces of information that we can pass along to you. I am going to simultaneously prop up, shit on, and teach you guys tonight. So prepare for that, right?
Sounds like an interesting threesome.
Hey, any
fourth
force
wheel here?
Wait, yeah. Serial.
Well, the 3-point.
Yeah, no. Serial, there's a really bad joke here. This is why we need to Claude back. He can make something out of it.
To make bad jokes.
Yeah. Because our jokes are just horrible.
Puns.
Didn't know how much we'd miss those.
I've missed them ever since the guy's been gone, let me tell you. So I guess we're going to start this out by first saying that we have Plays TV. We all have Plays TV. I'm always sharing links on there. I always forget to use hashtag TForcePlays, but if you're sharing plays, use hashtag TForcePlays, and we share them on Twitter. And I watch a lot of the Plays TVs you guys post out of there. And a lot of times I can get a sense of what rank you're in, not based on how you play necessarily, but how your opponents play or how your teammates play, etc. And my number one gripe that I see a lot of players post, because it seems like support is just full of people, even though it's autofill, right? I see a lot of AD carries. They stand still a lot. Like, there's a lot of AD carries out there that it's like to stand still and auto attack people, auto attack minions. They don't understand how to auto attack, not even auto attack cancel, just weave auto attacks in between movement as you're waiting for your auto attack to refresh. And I think that's the first place we're going to start at tonight, is talking about weaving auto attacks in and why you need to do it. And plus, I know Serial want to talk a little bit about using that for supports as well.
Well, I think the quick answer to not moving is that you should only do it in 2 instances, or 3. 1, you're in a brush and you don't want to move out of the brush. 2, you're fiddlesticks and you want to get the extra movement speed from the new passive. And 3, there's an enemy Rek'Sai on the team and they'll see you if you move. Otherwise, moving is usually pretty okay to do.
How many people do you think didn't know that last point at all?
The Rek'Sai one?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's also.
Rek'Sai
you can
has
really outplay the crap
OP,
out of Rek'Sai.
OP vision, but it only works on movement, like echolocation. Think like bats and shit like that.
It's like a Tyrannosaurus Rex.
Yeah, something like that.
What?
Or what is
Yeah.
it? It's called tremor sense. So it's tremors is movement in the earth. so
Jurassic
movement-
Park, can't see if you don't move.
yeah. Didn't he end up dying anyway?
I mean, one of them did. He ran into a toilet.
Pretty sure that's bullshit.
Yeah.
It is bullshit. but
I
it's
consider
Jurassic Park.
myself a dinosaur expert, and I'm pretty sure if a T-Rex is staring right
That's
at
pretty
you,
close
it's
to
you.
Pokemon.
I
so,
refuse
yeah.
to believe you're a dinosaur expert because you did not use the word aficionado. That was the
What?
correct word. to use.
Aficionado would be
That's
would
what
just be
that's
somebody who's
supposed
like
to do.
interested in it.
Correct.
Like not even that's
Because I
obvious.
know you're not a dinosaur expert because you work in IT.
I consider myself dinosaur expert. Shouldn't that be good enough?
I consider myself
Well,
challenger,
alright,
but I'm not there either.
It could be on Reddit
Oh,
all day,
you're
so he
wrong.
might be an aficionado in anything.
He's probably a moderator of our dinosaurs for all we know.
Dinosaurs 34.
Fuck you, I'm going back to my dinosaur subreddit.
All right, so before we get completely off track again because the beginning of this podcast was already just a nightmare. My thoughts on moving. This is from the support role. Like AD carry, it's some of these things are still going to apply, and Punch and Pone can also talk on. Anyone can talk on this, but the most basic thing is that if you are standing still and you are the other team notices that you stand still a lot, you're way easier to hit with skill shots. I cannot believe that I would even need to say that, but it's worth repeating. Like if people start noticing, hey, if you realize I get hit by skill shots a lot, maybe you might want to reconsider what you do in your off time, let's say, when you don't have to be setting up an auto attack to kill a minion or like purposefully avoiding somebody. But the other thing is that as supports also try to early get some harass down. Like if you're a range, especially if you're a range support, you're not doing this if you're Braum necessarily or like Blitzcrank. If you're throwing out auto attacks as like a Janna, a Morgana, a Nami, somebody who's going to try to like I don't know walk up and pressure an AD carry as they're last hitting, so you can get some free damage on them. You also can use this movement to position for that. You can use it to get back into brushes, which a lot of people won't do because if you don't also realize that, because I guess we're just gonna pull up things that hopefully people would know.
We're 4 wards tonight, boys.
We're 4 wards tonight. If you auto attack an enemy champion, all aggro from minions in range goes straight to you. So if you can move back to the brush right after doing that, you drop aggro. So if you're like right next to brush, you can auto attack and then jump right back into the brush, you're good. Assuming there's not a ward in there. That's also you can figure out if there's a ward in there. Because if aggro stays with you, you now know that brush is warded. That's more information to get. I'm going to stop this rant now so I can collect thoughts because I'm running out of them. So
I have something to add to that popped into my head while you're talking. I would say do it just for the simple fact that you will get used to doing it, and therefore it'll be on a more subconscious level for when you really need it. So you're doing it all the time. You have that kind of micro training happening 24/7 during laning phase. When you actually need to kite in order to survive during a team fight, you know how to do that. You've been doing it all game. And once you start kiting everywhere, you'll wonder how you play without it. Like standing still will be weird for you.
Mm-hmm.
It's
I was going to say everything that Serial Box said for support. I think the same thing applies for AD carry. Even the part about harassment. You want to kind of move in and out of harassment zones depending on what your enemy is doing. I think that one of the biggest opportunities to harass your enemy is when they're going for cannon. I think when you're learning to harass in bot lane, that's one of the first things you should be focused on is attack them every time they go for cannon, because they're going to be willing to take more damage since cannon is worth more money. So you can you can go into attack range, hit them when they hit cannon, then bounce back out so they can't attack you back. But the dodging skill shots part is probably the biggest reason to keep moving. And if you need any more convincing, just play against a Leona or a Blitzcrank and don't move during the laning phase. And after the game, you'll be convinced that moving is a good idea at all times.
You know what I hate?
Go ahead.
I hate playing against people that don't dodge because I'm always leading the hook.
Yeah. So you can get into like a psych out kind of mentality, but like it's always good too. And thinking about the aggro thing a little bit more, like you said, Punch, the cannon's really good to do early, like when you're starting to learn how to harass as like a support, because a lot of people don't play support, and so it could feel kind of weird to get into that mentality of looking for somebody who's going to be vulnerable in that situation. And it also means that you're getting specific windows to do it. Like you can say, oh, there's a cannon coming, I should be doing this. It keeps reminding you to do it. And then that can move more towards melees, towards range, whatever. But if you keep finding yourself extending really far, you'll end up taking way more damage, not just from the minions, but from any like return fire you'll get from the enemy champions. And the final thing I was thinking of is the brush is really useful, but you can get a little bit too attached to it. For one, that ward thing I said, you can still be spotted, you can still keep aggro, but don't fire autos from brush that often, because if you fire it from brush and they see you in brush, minions can still attack you in there. You can be seen, and you don't drop aggro in that sense. You have to like come out of brush, attack, and go back in, which is weird. But
and it shows everyone in the brush, right?
It does.
Yeah.
Yes.
So like
that also gives away information.
Yeah, like you'll give up where your traps are in that bush, I think, even too, and stuff
So,
like that.
I know we said we're 4 wards for a second, but I want to move it back to proper when we're talking about support tips and tricks. Something I see a lot of people do if they're playing Braum, for example. You know, we were talking about the tunneling on cannon minion. A lot of people will actually run up to the cannon minion, or even just run up to the cannon minion and press their shield immediately when someone's trying to get the last hit on the cannon minion to block the cannon minion from dying, and then it'll die to minions instead, because the minions are obviously attacking that cannon minion by priority, and that's one way to stop people. And your shield absorbs 80% of the damage and stops the first CC that hits you.
That is so much not even correct
Or
that I don't know what to do with that.
You mean
It stops
60% of the
first,
damage?
It stops the first instance of damage completely.
Correct.
You take no damage from the first attack, and then it's like it goes like 30 to like 50%.
Sorry.
As you scale it up.
It's pretty much
yeah.
80.
CC definitely still hits you.
It
though.
pretty
CC
much
is not
feels like
blocked at all.
80%. Let's put it that way. I said 80, but let's say it pretty much feels like 80 when he's got the goddamn thing up. So he
You
does
can
not
tell
take damage.
Pone doesn't play support because pretty much 80 was 30.
Hey,
But
pretty
that
much
first-
to me, when someone stands in front of my cannon minion with their goddamn shield up and they block my attack because I attacked the minion and it hits the Braum shield instead, like
This must be that tilt pedestal you were talking about.
my tilt meter. None of the people in the podcast world can hear this right now. But my tilt meter used to be, I don't know, pretty much straight up and down. I'm 50-50, right? Any day I might be a little higher, a little lower. But as of right now, I've completely tilted just so goddamn hard that the needle is into the red zone. You know how you have the heat meter on your car to tell if it's overheating? Like, it's in the fucking red zone right now, and I'm crying.
Someone didn't get into their promos this weekend.
I got dicked out of my promos 3 times this week, and I had a goddamn LeBlanc. This is actually really funny because it made me laugh. I had a LeBlanc she didn't AFK completely. She just stopped laning and just ran around, tried to get kills, and it was basically trolling at that point. But at 3 minutes, our bottom lane died to a Vayne, and she goes, "Wow, I'm done. You died to a Vayne in 2016. Who dies to a Vayne in 2016?" And I'm like, I'm in the cesspool of League.
I'd probably be done too. I have similar feelings about Vayne.
You
Who
missed,
dies to
like,
Vayne in 2016? That's a
you must
good
be
question.
so
Man, that guy
all
is
of
onto something.
2016.
You must be so tilted that you missed a Rumble pun completely there.
Did
Like
I?
that was such a layup. You set yourself up. You put the ball on the tee for any Rumble
For the
pun,
danger zone,
and then
yeah.
said, "Fuck it, we're hitting over here."
I guess I need to equalize the conversation and come up with another pun then, huh?
That's slightly better.
Hey!
Those finger guns were only like 90% sarcastic.
You're welcome. I'm the clutch
actually-
tonight, boys.
So actually, a point on that. I had to play a ranked game the other week because I logged on and it said you have 1 day till LP decay. And it
Oh,
said,
no.
Hey, that's good timing. I guess I will play a game. Thank you very much.
Oh no, you
And-
have to play a game.
Well, it had been a busy month. And I jump in. I play support, surprise, and we actually get behind pretty hard. Like I think we lost a couple kills. We ended up pulling a really really good fight 2v2 down bot and got 2 kills, which made me feel a little bit better. But we started to turn the game around when we were behind. I could look it up, but I'd guess about like 6,000 gold. Start to turn it around, and somebody says in chat, and this is amazing because it's I guess plat 5, plat 4. This doesn't happen because I think that's where my MMR is. They said, "Hey, this is funny. We started to come back because no one got too angry about this and no one raged, and everyone just kept playing the game." And we're like, "Yeah, that's true. Funny how that works." And we ended up coming back and winning the game pretty handily. So Pone, maybe if you were a little more positive about this, and
Shit,
said,
motherfucker!
"Hey,
I'm the most positive force in any of those games. People start fighting. I'm like, hey, let's not fight. It's not worth your time. I've had one person out of all the games that have go, you know what? You're right, and we won the game. But I'm like, hey, I'm positive. Let's do this right. Let's not this. And in my head, I'm like, you fucking stupid ass son of a bitch. Why the fuck are you arguing with people?
That game that people tried to surrender 2 or 3 times, Pone, that we ended up coming back and winning, that's that game.
Oh yeah.
They had both Nexus turrets down, and they were just
And they were just dicking around and trolling.
they were just
thinking
sticking
they were
around.
winning.
We aced them and came back. So hey, don't fuck around, don't surrender, man.
where are you at now, Pone?"
P140 LP.
I think I'm at
mean-
like 60 something.
So what's your so that maybe the podcast listeners can like I don't know follow like get a over under on this. When do you think you're gonna hit diamond?
If I stop duo or trioing, 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Was
Is also
that
this
like
thing-
was that like a subtle jab?
Yeah, is that a
No,
shot?
it's that
Let's hear it, guys. Let's hear it.
I look at my overall games played, duo and trio, and I win more. Just statistically, I win more by myself than I do if I duo with anybody. As much as I want to duo with people and I like duoing and being the partner, it just statistically I win more by myself than I do if I duo.
Okay, I really want to see if anyone will put over unders on this. Maybe Twitter can.
I mean,
So we're holding you to 2 weeks now?
I have this. I have
put it on my calendar.
2 weeks.
I have 8 hours to play on Sunday and 5 hours to play on Saturday. So assuming I don't tilt hard, I could technically make it into my promos this weekend. I could potentially make it this weekend, but the likelihood of that happening is low.
I think the two likely outcomes are you actually do hit diamond or you fall to plat 5.
I'm not
one of the two.
I don't think I'll fall to plat 5. I'm not tilting as hard as I did last year. No.
That's
7:30 p.m. 7:30 p.m. July 25th. Did Pwn hit diamond save? Cool.
All right, cool. It's not great. Just what I need. More pressure. I've got the entire fucking podcast team who isn't even trying this season in ranked on my dick about hitting diamond because I'm pushing so hard for it.
Hey, the last time you had a bet, it was if you had lost because of somebody hitting gold, you were gonna eat a shoe. And I actually had a reminder for that, and you didn't have to eat a shoe, so that was good.
Oh, I don't remember that bet, dude. What was the bet?
If your brother hit diamond, or sorry, if your brother hit gold, sorry.
I love you, Luke, but silver for life.
All right, so wait, we had a few other topics.
Jungle Graves, fuck that guy.
I was going to stick on the support one because there was that one
ahead.
question you got right before the podcast went on.
Yeah, let's
if
talk
you
about
want to do that. Yeah, so it was a question of how do you deal with a support that is 0-10 at 19 minutes, or how do you play around that? And I don't know if you were the support in this situation, because that'd be a funny kind of meta question to ask about yourself. But I would say as the support, because I know how to play from that side of things. If you were super far behind a support, play to what your strengths still are, and don't try to do more than you need to. You don't need to cut, like if you're 0-10, you don't need to start making up for it. Like you're not going to be able to. If you're an engaged support, try to engage from range. If you're like support like Soraka, try to keep the heals up, keep yourself relevant, but don't keep trying to do random shit. And if you are not that person, if you're not that support, tell them to do that. Be like, hey, I know you're behind. You're not gonna be able to tank much, but like try to get a hook off this fight on a target, and we'll try to work around that.
The only way to fully counter somebody on your team, let me start here. If your support is 0-10 at 14 minutes, it likely means your AD carry is equal to that, unless your support decided to roam around. If that's the case, likely the game isn't going to go your way, and your entire team just needs to realize they need to let shit go, essentially, and not like try to overextend for dragons or overextend for Barret, etc. Not try to get too many deep wards everywhere, whatever you got to do. I say this, but these basic concepts that a lot of people fail to recognize, even myself where I'm at, I sometimes fail to recognize it. But before Punch chimes in here, the only way to counteract one person being 0-10 is if you have somebody else on your team that is like 5-0, for example. Like, to counteract it, you have to have a fed person on your team, and that that completely wipes out that you have somebody that completely shit the bed. Because assuming the rest of your team is fairly equal to the enemy team, you are still in a good position to win that game.
So there's two scenarios there. Let's say you don't have that person that's fed to go against their fed enemy or whoever, or to go against the person that fed on your team. So let's say you're behind. You got a 0-10 support. We're assuming you're behind. At that point, you're just looking for basic comeback mechanics, which is avoiding fights that include their bot lane, because their bot lane is going to be super fed, and trading objectives. So if they're gonna get a dragon, you don't want to team fight them because again, your bot lane's really behind. So try and take mid or top turret. The other scenario is you have somebody on your team that's fed to counteract their fed bot lane, right? And in that scenario, that's when you want to. Brent really wants to chime in here. I can see, but that's when you really want to fight with your fed team and avoid fighting with their fed bot lane. I mean, that's just the generic strategy that you want to employ there.
I mean, these are basic comeback mechanic tips. I don't know if the question was specifically for what should you tell your support to do,
but
or what should your support
bring
do.
that up because you have to assume that's the case. If somebody is if someone is literally 0-10,
well,
I have to keep those things in mind.
You're not going to be able to get those really aggressive support items, so just concentrate on getting your sight stun and wards out. I'm just going to take it from the real base level because I don't know where else to go with this question, specifically from the support perspective. But if you're that support, stay with your team, because that probably means if you're 0-10, if your entire team is dying with you, then you're probably fucked anyway. But if you're the one that's getting caught out a lot, you need to ward with people. And if say, hey, come ward with me or I'm going to keep dying, like, don't force it. Don't like go out without them. Don't like say, hey, you didn't come with me. It's your fault. Wait for them and ward with them. And then I had something else for this. If your support's 10-0, let's say the enemy carry or 0-10, the enemy carry has all the kills. That means if all the kills are stacked on one person, if you eliminate that one person, you have pretty much even the odds. So that's something you see a lot mentioned even in LCS is like, well, all the kills are on this one person and it's a really strong hyper carry, but if he gets caught out and then they jinx it and then 10 minutes later a comeback victory happens because they did catch out that 10-0 Twitch and all that gold lead means jack shit if he's dead.
Play into your enemy when a lot of these things happen. A lot of you guys wonder, these games look like they're unwinnable. These games, I should surrender right now at 20 minutes because we're down 3 inhibs and they have a couple, or not inhibs, excuse me, turrets. I'm down 3 turrets and they have 2 dragons. I should surrender. Absolutely not. We're 25 minutes in this game. You have plenty of time to come back because what I see happen in solo queue, and again, I'm plat 1, right? I've played with guys up into diamond 3. People still make the biggest mistake of that all, and they get too big for their britches and think they're LCS and try to dive turrets by themselves. They try to start really dumb fights where they feel like they can take that extra poke from that turret because they are so fed that they feel like that taking that extra damage will alleviate the damage that they put out, or vice versa, but you know what I'm trying to say. That you need to capitalize on your enemy's mistakes and understand, then we can start talking about engaging. If a team is trying to dive you under a turret, that's the point to engage. Bait them into diving you. Bait them into a ward, into a pink ward. Bait them into trying to take your blue buff. Like, leave your blue buff up for maybe that extra 30 seconds, knowing the enemy jungler might walk over there. Like, these are all little pieces of strategies that you can try to use. Now, they don't always work. Like, these are just... Unfortunately, with a podcast, we can only give you overarching strategies without actually watching a replay review, but you can leave objectives up, such as Wraiths or Red and stuff, for just a little extra time to try to bait that person into it, and then with your team catch them out. Death Bush, exactly.
I've turned so many games like we were behind, but they just didn't have vision of this area. They got greedy, and they were ahead. And people that are ahead, especially in solo queue, like to get more greedy. Take advantage of that. Take advantage of your enemy mistakes. That's how you come back games. I know that's, once again, we're going back to like an overarching how do we come back versus the specific question, but that's how you come back. You take advantage of enemy mistakes. You will let them make mistakes. You don't force stuff. You let them make the first error, and you take advantage of that. And then you don't get too greedy as well and make the same mistake back.
Kelly, I got a jungle question for you.
And I have an answer. What's up?
Would you treat bot lane the same as top or mid if that lane falls really behind? In this scenario, the 0-10 support. Like, in top or mid lane, the common strategy is, okay, ignore that lane, it's lost. Do you do the same thing with bot lane?
Yes. It's a little bit more variable because you do have a 3 versus 2 scenario and there's more spells being laid around. So being down a couple levels, if your bot lane is 6 level wise and they're 7 and 8, you can maybe turn around if your jungler is about 7 or 6, just because of that man advantage, and there's a lot of CC being thrown around
as well.
Yeah. So, but if they're down a lot, I would do the same thing. You can't save a losing lane. Like, if I go down there, I'm just going to continue to feed that lane. So I'm going to help top lane get really fed and feed our Aurelia, who can counteract their fed AD carry. So I would treat it the same way. It has a little bit more volatility, which also leaves you a little bit more wiggle room to kind of save that lane. But if you do get counter ganked in a 2v2 situation or turning into a 3v3 situation in bot lane, you're going to be super fucked because it's going to take that turret and dragon in bot lane.
A lot of it
there's also more risk.
Sorry, just a lot of it goes back to wards. What kind of wards are later on the map as a jungler and mid lane, because and it also deals with what compositions in the bottom lane. Because if it's Ashe Bard, for example, on your team, and they're a couple kills down, you don't necessarily need to go down there and gank for them all the time, unless Bard gets a good pathway off into a great gank setup where it's a 3v2, and the enemy jungler is top lane because you've warded and you've watched that person's movements, etc. But also, leaving those utility bottom lanes with just a little underfarmed can it's not going to help you per se, but it's not necessarily going to hurt you as much as if you left a scaling hyper carry with that many deaths down there by themselves, because that Ashe can always throw out a perfect ultimate that turns a team fight around. That Bard can always throw out a good R that throws a team fight around, etc. Like those scaling or those really good engagey champs can play a little bit behind. And when I say a little bit, I mean maybe 2 kills. If we get down to 3 or 4, then we're talking, we're not talking a good time.
The thought I just had that actually built off the question that was asked of Tally, and I think this is worth mentioning, because if you just listen to what we said about, hey, one person's really fed, like target them, that comes with a huge caveat of
I'm
this
talking
is
about
later
team fights.
Yeah, I agree. And that's what I was going to say, is that deals with team fights, because you're eliminating the damage dealer from a team fight and able to clean up a team fight from that. In the scenario that it's bot lane, if you eliminate the high damage threat and you get kills for bot lane, well, that's all you've got. You probably haven't turned it around so hard that it's like a 2 for 0 wipe in that, like, unless something just really, really good happened. So yeah, if that is that really fed person, wait till it's team fights, then you focus them. It's not, because then you're eliminating that much gold from a team fight, as opposed to you're eliminating it from the bot lane, and you can't really you could maybe get a turret off it, but you could say the same thing about top lane. It's probably an easier time in that scenario. So make sure to focus that once it's a real, like, 4v4, 5v5 scenario. Then you're like, hell yeah, we want to take out that dude. That Kog'Maw's done. All right, we can just push. We can kill all of them real easily because they have no damage now or something.
I just thought of something that I didn't think of when I was answering Brad's question before. But if
Brad?
your bot lane punches,
I don't know.
if your bot
Okay.
lane's down and these are all pre-6 kills, and you're facing an aggro lane like Zyra Lucian, and your lane is kind of like a passive or scales a lot better. Let's say it's Ashe and Alistar or something like that, but they're getting poked, they're outranged, they're poked, they have a much worse early game, and your support doesn't have any range versus a ranged support, and they're getting killed. You can force kills and ganks there after level 6, even if they're down 2 or 3 kills each, just because their ultimates don't do nearly as much as yours. They set up really high CC ultimates and kits in general. But if you could turn that around and get even if it's like a 2 for 1, hopefully a 2 for 0, that's worth it, because just the comeback gold mechanics and whatnot. But yeah, it's just like other lanes where it depends on the level 6. But yeah, bot lane is just more volatile. On the other hand, if you don't get those kills off immediately and you're kind of chasing down the lane because it's a long lane, bot lane and top lane, you can set yourself up to be counter ganked and then, like I said, further wiped. So you might want to wait for them to gank it and then be waiting in that bush so you can get the jump on them when they're getting over aggressive and not expecting it. But that's just a jungle, like, mind games in general.
Yeah, there's a lot. Excuse me. There's a lot to the jungle when it comes to mind games and tracking and everything. I think that's we've talked before. The macro decision making of jungle is so much higher than any other role. What was I just gonna? I had another scenario that I wanted to bring up.
Something important.
Yeah, no, it's completely escaped me at this point. Oh no, I remember it now. It's kind of like it's a dynamic queue question that I wanted to bring up to you guys to see what you guys thought about, because I've seen other people talk about this and had their opinions on it. I was curious what your opinion was, so let me get to it now. That queuing, right? You essentially have 4 choices when you queue, because unless you want to queue for support or fill, which is basically the same thing at this point. You're more likely to get support if you queue support anywhere in your role. So you basically have 4 other places to put in. Put your primary in, let's say I put bot in. And then statistically, I lose more top if I play top than I do if I play bot. Like, I win 58% of my games if I play bottom lane. I lose far more if I play top lane, but I have to have a second option, right? You can't just go in and say, I just only want to play bot. So would it be better for me and anybody who's in this scenario where they find themselves playing one role better than the others to queue as like middle and start taking a champion they're really comfortable with and going middle with that, or even taking middle and saying, hey, I got middle because of Phil. Would anybody like to take it? What is the best case scenario? This is just an overarching question again. What's the best case scenario when you only have one role that you find yourself ranking up with?
Well, your first solution or suggestion to queue up as mid and then just have somebody that can play there comfortably, I think the same could be applied to top or jungle as well. If you just have one champion that you can play comfortably in another role, right?
One really safe champion that's kind of hard to fuck up, and even if you get behind, you still bring a lot of utility to the
Sure.
team per se. That's what I did for the longest time. Is I played utility top laners if I couldn't get jungle. If I and then even before dynamic Q, if I couldn't get jungle, I'd just support. Just because of how much played jungle constantly with a team, I wasn't really great at last hitting. So if I couldn't get jungle, I'd support. Now, if you do jungle support and you queue with the champion select, the new champion select, I'm not going to say dynamic queue, but you usually will get support. Yeah, you'll get jungle 1 out of every 8 times, and I used to get jungle more often than that. And then if I didn't, I was like, all right, I'll go support. That's fine. But
Like a good champion to play comfortable as, let's use the mid lane example again, might be someone
Morgana.
like Victor. Or just someone that has wave clear.
yeah,
Someone that can just stay safe, farm from a distance, and who's just generically good in the meta. That would
Yeah.
be Victor right now.
See, I think this works better. Actually, Serial, go ahead. I'll let you.
Okay,
put
okay.
your thought in.
I would say that if you're kind of in that scenario that you're, I don't want to say one trick pony, but like one trick hopeful pony, hoping that you can do well in your off
One
roll.
roll.
or one
Just
roll pony.
One roll.
Well,
pony.
that works, but like having only one champ that you're playing in a different scenario. Like if I'm playing mid and like let's say that's Morgana, like that's actually a really good one to I think bring up because it's a bit safer. It's a bit like I'd say easier to play because you can just say I'm gonna push the wave for a while and I guess farm up. But that's also it's worth mentioning that early on because A, if you are going to do that trade thing, you can at least bring that up. But B, if you do keep the role and you're going to play somebody like Morgana that's a bit safer, more utility, it's good to let your team know that so they can maybe build around something like that. That's kind of like Ashe and bot lane. Ashe and bot lane's a bit more utility. You might want to put some damage a little bit more in other roles. Same thing with Morgana, bit more utility. It's to make sure you don't hamstring your team too much because you end up with a team that's super low damage and like you can CC them for a while, but they're just kind of like, all right, well, once you're done like stunning us and tickling us, then we're gonna go fuck you up real bad.
Yeah, at the start you could say something like, I got mid through Phil. I'm going to play Morgana because I'm comfortable with that. And then somebody might offer another role, the role that you want, or go build their team around it.
But mention that because people are thinking about themselves. Like when you mention something like, hey, if you guys have something a bit more high damage, like just talking about stuff doesn't hurt. Like you're giving a suggestion, not telling them to do something, but say, hey, if somebody could pick something more damagey or more like just a more damagey comp, I'll have some more utility. I'm bringing this to the table instead.
Yeah.
I'm curious. The reason I brought this up is I saw somebody mentioned earlier saying they were a one-trick Nocturne main out of the jungle and they were climbing with Nocturne. And somebody had mentioned, why don't you queue for jungle mid and then try to trade jungle and mid with the person who obviously gets jungle. And if they don't take it, just play Nocturne mid because Nocturne can do really well mid in solo queue right now. No matter what elo you are, if you're really comfortable with Nocturne, you could do fairly well mid with him. You just push and then roam with his ultimate after you hit 6, right? I'm like, that's a really good suggestion. And I kind of wonder if I should be considering doing the same thing instead of queuing for top because, again, statistically, I don't do well in the top lane even though I used to be a top lane main. If I shouldn't be queuing for bot and mid, trying to trade mid off, then maybe playing Morgana instead of Victor or something. Somebody says just super safe push and then, and then do.
I thought you were going to
easy
play
answer
mid
here.
gen.
Oh, well, no, my problem with mid lane is anytime I ever play mid lane, I just auto push always, and I will get ganked and die a ton. Even if I play Jhin, I'll just auto push and do it. I just can't help myself.
No, the simple answer is you need to queue bot support so you can see it from our fucking side of the fence every once in a while.
Motherfucker, I played support last season and made it to my Plat 1 promos in fucking support. You could suck my dick, okay?
Sounds like
saw
you
the
should
whole
be doing that
goddamn
this
thing.
time to get to your Plat 1.
I'm already in Plat 1.
Suck
Five
my dick?
I'm not
promos.
going to support your infidelity. You're married now. Actually, it's funny because I usually do queue up support bot because I was until Corki just got completely dumpstered. I was like, oh, I could just play Corki if I get bot and we'll be fine. I probably could still, but it just seems weak as hell. But I could do a few others there. But also like support, it's weird because as supports we never have this problem. Like it is so like if I ever get popped into any other role, I am genuinely surprised. I think like probably any other support because I feel like support could be the one role they could just say, "Nah, you know what, guys, you don't need to put a second role. If you put support, it's okay." and I'm kind of surprised they don't.
Yeah,
But like, there are some that
could
could.
bonus for doing that too.
Yeah, seriously. But like, I feel like there's a few things you can like. Vel'Koz is one. Zyra's one. A couple. Well, Zyra's banned like permanently right now. A little bit better now, but
I don't actually
like,
ever see Zyra banned anymore.
Well, you're just in too high of an elo, Mister Hot Shot.
No, I just see I see a lot of salty bans like Talia. I ban Talia because she's my salty ban.
But there's a few supports that can mesh between roles as opposed to like 80 carries. There's not a lot that you could just throw into another role and say, oh, this will do good. No, not really.
Jungle and top share a decent amount. Like you could play Maokai top, and he's a decent jungler too. I mean, you could play a lot of these kind of bruisers top. Volibear.
I should just play top turn. Why am I not playing top turn?
Because you suck at it.
Fuck you.
You wanted an answer.
That's not the right answer. I wanted a real answer. Fucking trolling me, Talanasty. Fucking playing Jungle Graves over here like it's some good kind of jungler. Quit playing Jungle Graves, motherfuckers. Anybody out there, quit playing goddamn... Because he's so fucking bad. You want to know why he's bad? It's not because Jungle Graves is actually bad. Like, the champion in that role is good. He works very well if you know how to play him, but the problem is that players don't know how to play him, so he's fucking terrible in that role. Like, they always try to gank with Jungle Graves. Jungle Graves is not a ganker. He is a counter ganker and an invader. Like, that's what he does the best. He can invade and counter gank, and he does that very well. And he can take Dragon really early because he's really fucking safe. He can counter gank bottom lane really easily. He can actually gank bottom lane pretty fairly easily. Like,
you gotta have CC in the lane, but he doesn't bring he doesn't bring CC to the lane when he ganks like most junglers. He brings damage to the lane, so you hopefully go to a lane that has CC. But
that's the thing. Like,
he's an average jungler as we're going straight by win rate, but obviously at higher elos, like the really good mechanically Graves are going to play him real well. But I mean, he's also been nerfed a lot.
Motherfucker, that's what I'm saying though. Every single Jungle Graves I have seen, I'm not lying. Every single Jungle Graves I've seen, both teams have lost because Jungle Graves cannot gank very well. Bullshit! You fucking carried us. I'm not even drunk, and I am salty as fuck over Jungle Graves.
Last time I played Jungle Graves, we won.
Who carried your ass?
Jungle Graves.
Yeah, exactly.
Bullshit. We lost as Jungle Graves when you played.
No, we did not. I'm bringing it up.
Come back late because we had the double AD carry.
Yeah.
Jungle Graves.
There we go. I was 14, 8, and 18.
That was the one where we sat in our goddamn base for like 40 fucking minutes, and then we came back from it.
It was all part of the
wasn't
plan.
Jungle Graves.
Yeah, we were talking about that during Champ Select. Like, all right, we're just going to lose heavily at the start and then farm in our base for 30 minutes, and eventually we'll come back with the Jungle Graves.
We didn't have to discuss that. That's always our strategy.
We did tell Cubs that's our strategy.
Chira, I just remember he said he was fine at least 30 times that game. I love you, Chira.
I think the other so remember how we're gonna have a bet, guys, if you wanted to bet on Pwn hitting Diamond in 2 weeks. You guys can also play a betting game at home called When is Pwn gonna get so salty that he gets on a soapbox randomly in the episode. It took only 44 minutes this time. This is actually pretty late, I think.
I haven't done it in a while. Let's be honest. I really haven't gotten on my soapbox in a while and just ranted.
That wasn't really a soapbox. That was more of you just being pissed about something.
Yeah.
You didn't really help anybody. You didn't explain anything to somebody.
Really
you said Jungle Graves is bad, and you should feel bad.
I'm gonna check out his match history and see when's the last time he had a Jungle Graves.
I had one, and he fucking fed double buff to Trundle top lane, shutting down our top Shyvana.
That's my strategy.
And we lost at 25
I'm looking
minutes.
at that game. You were 0-3. Come on.
Yeah. It's not my fault. It was such a bad game. Like, it just snowballed out of control is all it was.
Hey guys, I feel like between the games that the 5 of us have experienced and the games Pwn is talking about, I feel like there's a common link here. It's A, falling behind early, and B, Pwn is in the game. And I think that we can make a correlation there. I don't know what it is, but I think there's something there.
I still win more games when I play
extrapolate.
Marksman than I do any other roles, so you could suck my dick. Listen,
Again,
you're going to be
married, okay?
Listen, you're going to be in the bot lane later with me. We're going to have some quality time together.
Is that a threat?
And we're going to talk
Is that
about
a
this.
veiled, like somewhat sexual threat?
It might be.
Does anyone know where to
I take back
file a
everything
restraining
said
order?
because that Graves player was apparently a Trump supporter. So
What was that his name? I support Trump.
I don't want to say. I don't want to call out his name on the stream, but yes.
I mean, you can just look him up. Go to my OPGG. You can find him. I don't give a
Trump
fuck.
has my vote.
Yeah, Trump has my vote. You're a son of a bitch. You know, it was funny. He goes, he feeds double buffs to top lane, totally by accident, right? Because I think they got counter ganked by Vi is what happened. And Shyvana starts bitching, like, oh my God, I can't even do anything. And he goes, LOL, good luck. I was like, that's the best reply. And then, like, the mid lane was like, oh my God, this dude literally just said LOL, good luck to our top laner for feeding double buffs. It had me rolling. I'm like, I don't even care if I lose this game anymore.
Oh my God! As a jungler, I've never even thought to say that. I'm usually so apologetic. I'm like,
It's a
I will
great
be back
response.
and I'll help you get those double buffs back. I swear. If it's the last thing I ever do.
You know, he's just-
LOL. Good luck.
I guess the other final bet is if you do make diamond, are you going to be like nicer? Are you going to be more angry? Like, because I hear like,
And once you hit diamond, it's like fucking heaven. Because even if you have a troll, you don't really give a shit unless you're in a demotion game.
No, as soon as I hit Diamond 5, I'm done. I'm done. You won't even see me on League anymore. I'm quitting. I'm leaving it there until I have to play my game again for the next...
No. Yeah, it's like 3 weeks. Yeah.
I'll probably play a couple after I hit it, to be honest. Just trying to get some padding.
you sound
Yeah.
so confident, and I'm so just waiting to see this. fall
Listen,
apart.
Pro
if
red
you're
free
not... just overall, for anybody out there who's climbing, you want to get to Gold 5, you want to get to Silver 5, whatever your ranking that you want to get to this season, if you're not confident... and you don't have a bunch of assholes in front of you telling you you'll never make it, you'll never fucking make it. So you tell all those fuckers to suck your cock again, because that's the whole thing.
Yeah, we're providing a necessary role here. We're giving you fuel to get to diamond by telling you that you're obviously not going to get to diamond.
You guys are just jealous. Punch is just jealous because he can't make it.
I can't get out of gold 1, man.
The lack of confidence in that statement is just so.
Urtai is jealous because I passed him. I know it is. I can see it.
I mean, I'll
could very
be
well
so
be.
happy for you. Seriously, I will be, but I'm gonna shit on you till you get there.
I know you. I know you.
Yeah.
Oh my god. All right. I think
You
that's it.
should hit it before him.
That would take a Herculean effort, and I would have to, I'd have to,
Herculean.
like,
That's a great word.
do a lot right now, and I have a lot of Pokemon to catch. We got a bunch of gyms here that aren't Team Instinct, so I got some work to do, guys.
Instinct.
I'm not level 5 yet, so still working.
I mean, I just hit 6. I'm really far behind.
And he expects
Hey,
it.
speaking of Pokemon Go, if anyone wants to send a smartphone to Punch, he could use one so he could play the game.
I
so
did
if anyone,
see. Go ahead.
if anyone wants to like donate a smartphone to him, that would be a very nice thing. I actually just realized I have an old one that's kind of
yeah?
cracked, but if you wanted a smartphone,
I did see Punch's phone.
about it.
It is the craziest thing I've ever. I honestly think he's homeless. I saw it. I swear to God, this dude is homeless.
This is just a backdrop. I'm actually in a box right now.
It's a fake. It's cardboard.
Look at
There,
that.
it's like a little mini
Come on.
BlackBerry.
That's like a. It's all like somewhat smartphone.
No,
not
it's like
a
a-
brick.
No, oh, you can't see anything from there.
When it-
but-
yeah, I love that you turn on the screen. Look, it turns on. It's not. A
yeah, it works,
smartphone.
guys.
When it was 2006, I wanted that phone so badly. I'm like, it's got a goddamn keyboard on it. I can type so easily.
I missed the flip phone.
I liked the keyboards,
Yeah.
but yeah.
All right, we're done. That's it. That's
What breaks it?
we're done for the night. You guys got to listen to us ramble. We shit on some people. We shit on me. Just overall a great night. Right?
I agree.
Guys, thank you so much for listening to Trinity Force podcast. I hope you enjoyed and you got a lot of laughter out of tonight. As a reminder, we will not be back Wednesday. We will not be back till next week for patch rundown. We will likely do, well, with Vantage League starting, it'll be hard, but we might try to do 2 podcasts next week with Rise rework as well, because we need to get that Rise. We need to get Skyen on and do the Rise stuff as well, and that might be our 2 if we can squeeze it in on a day, on like a Saturday or Sunday or something. We'll see. We'll talk about it internally. But either way, we're going to be playing Advantage League, so go to subscribe to us on YouTube, youtube.com/TForce Podcast. We're going to be posting all our games up there. You'll be able to hear us talk. It'll likely come from Tally's point of view because he is jungling, so he gets the whole map presence. Yes, Tally, you're going to be streaming those. And you'll be able to hear us. You'll be able to hear the after talk. We have Cubs, who was ex-call coach,
Cubes.
Complexity. It's Cubs, isn't it?
Cubes.
He kept calling him Cubs yesterday, didn't he?
No, he said cubes.
Oh, sorry. Cubes.
Deaf motherfucker.
Cubes. If you're listening, I apologize, which I know you're not, so it doesn't matter. He's ex-complexity coach. He's also been on the analyst desk. He is coaching us throughout this thing, so you'll be able to hear everything he talks about. It'll be a really good time. Vantage League is going to be really awesome for us as we hope to get a lot of good information. We're going to post all those up, and we will give you the URLs in the description when they come out. So, guys, that's it. Have a good night.
See you guys.
Later.